From December till halfway through April, trains puff north from Montreal, bringing skiers from all over the continent to the blue and white hills of the Laurentians. They come to the Valley of the Saints and the little French-Canadian villages. Saint-Adèle with its gay cottages and perky fir trees. Sainte Marguerite, where you can practice your technique on the slalom hill. Saint-Faustin and the beauty of snow and shadow. Saint-Sauveur, where enthusiasts ski in joy of release from the daily round. Saint-Jovite, where you glide through scenes as lovely as this. Saint-Agathe and the swish of skis on a wooded trail. As the cars roll northward, the passengers begin to feel relaxed and carefree. Ski trains are famous for their comradeship. Everyone talks to everyone else, sharing jokes and experiences with fellow travelers, so that when the journey is over, you reach your destination with good companions already found for your skiing holiday. At each jumping-off place, there is a scramble for skis and poles, and the passengers pile off onto the wooden platform. There are taxis for the more sober-minded people, but the sentimental ones choose sleighs. The lodging is even more varied than the transportation. There are comfortable and cheap little pensions for a shoestring holiday. There are housekeeping cottages, such as those in ski-conscious Saint-Adèle, where even the eggman, René de Passier, delivers his wares on skis. From cottage to large hotel is only a matter of 5 minutes this way, and René, practically brought up on skis, shows little concern for the fate of his fragile cargo. As the raw material for a luncheon souffle reaches the cook's hands at the kitchen door, the newly arrived guests are sunbasking on the terrace, or working up an appetite on the lawn below. For those who want the utmost in luxury, there are chalets where the service and surroundings are planned to soothe the most run-down city worker. But no matter what the indoor accommodation is like, it is the snow outside that counts. Wherever you go in the Laurentians, there is a slope to fit your ability as a skier, whether it is the merest suggestion of a hill or a steeper one where you can practice your downhill skiing and master stem turns and Christies. The rope tows allow you to spend a minimum of time going up and a maximum of time coming down. The lineup moves along to the starting point, and one by one each person seizes the rope, and with ski poles bobbing along behind, is whisked up to the top in 2 or 3 minutes. All day long, the tows bring people gliding to the top. Those who have skied in many lands, Norway, Russia, Chile, Switzerland, and those who have never seen snow before they came to Canada. They soar up to the top, and then come swooping down, good skiers and bad, all finding the same thrill in the joyous downward rush. Each has his favorite stance, but always the knees should be bent, the weight forward. At the bottom of the hill, people rest in the sunlight, some encouraging tans. some discouraging sunburns, and others just watching the various performances on the hill. At Mont Tremblant, you choose a trail to suit your ability. You may come down the hard way, but even the most timid beginner has a fine time going up. The climb may be good for the waistline, but the chair is infinitely easier on the legs. Having reached the top with so little effort, you can take time out to enjoy the view. Below lie the snow-covered ridges of Canada's North Country, a rolling plateau of rock, lake, and tree, stretching clear 2,000 miles to the Arctic. To get the most pleasure out of a fast downhill run on any hill or trail, you should have some knowledge of skiing technique. In the Laurentians, there are many professional instructors, both European and Canadian. Hermann Gardner and Hans Faulkner from Austria, Mario Gabriel from Switzerland, and George Jacobson from Denmark. Join with the local experts from Saint-Adèle and Montreal, Canadians Jack Miller, Louis Depassier, and Frank Schofield. With a little knowledge and a lot of practice, you soon master the turns and graduate to steeper and steeper slopes. After a strenuous afternoon in the fresh air, the warm and friendly atmosphere of the inns is indeed welcome. Whether you are toasting your toes or dancing to a jukebox, moccasins feel wonderful when you take off your heavy boots. There are interesting people to talk to, today's tumbles to discuss, and tomorrow's plans to make. In the cheerful lounges, you meet men and women from every continent. The varied interests and adventures of the other guests make each conversation exciting. On Sunday morning, the small churches are full. When the service is over, the crowds stream along the village streets toward the hills. There are many people who prefer cross-country skiing to the steady up and down of the practice hills. If the day is bright and snow conditions good, a skiing hike is a delightful excursion. There are fine trails close to almost every cottage, and the one to choose depends only on the mood and ability of the group. From a map showing all the trails in the district, they can see that the 9-mile trail to Loup-Garou looks interesting, so that is the one they decide on. They travel Indian file on the narrow trail through the woods, wearing sweaters and windbreakers that come off and are stuffed into packs as the sun gets stronger and the going tougher. Leaving the forest through a grove of birches, the party crosses an open valley and begins the first real climb. When they reach the crest of the hill, they look down at the patterned hollow, and then they plunge down into it. After passing through a little wood, the company arrives at a frozen lake, and they decide to have lunch on the edge of it. Pack sacks are quickly shed, and it won't be long before the woodsman of the party has eggs sizzling over an open fire, and a hot drink ready for his hungry friends. Appetites are colossal out of doors, and plates are emptied and emptied again. After the bundled up feeling of the chill autumn and winter months, the March sun is warm against your skin, and open collars and rolled up sleeves take eager advantage of it. The ice on the lake is still so thick and solid that the campfire scarcely begins to melt it. Yet, sheltered by the fir trees, it is warm enough to sleep in the sun. With the pots and pans packed up, the group is off again. Although it's just past the middle of the day, the sun is low enough to make long blue shadows follow them across the ice. Climbing high above the lake, Louis pauses to glance down to the spot where they had lunch. Monique is beginning to feel a little weary from the long trek. She just keeps plugging ahead, hoping to reach the summit soon. From the peak of Loup-Garou, they can try to pick out the other hills by name: Mount Fitzgerald, Mont Gabriel, and Mont Tremblant. By the time the homeward route has been decided on, the early sunset is approaching, and they begin the return trip. The first part of the way down is so tricky that even the best skiers choose to traverse the slopes, swinging from side to side, instead of shussing straight down. On the last few hundred yards, But as the village comes in sight across Lake Clear, everyone has the satisfied feeling that they have conquered something, even if it was only a medium-small mountain. In the ski country, wherever you park your skis, you are bound to find laughter and comradeship. The inns are crowded every evening with gay people who have come to dance and joke and sing. 20th century members of the Order of Good Cheer.